Sure, yeah, absolutely. Raph appears to maybe be having microphone problems. So yeah, welcome to our most recent stream of 2025. It's almost March, but we got there. We're getting there. Um, we will start with the question of the day. Raph, you jump in whenever it is you think you got audio. Um, okay, a moment or two. Okay, perfect. Yep. But before question of the day, of course, we got Just with us. So we'll see. Maybe they can hear Just. You want to hop on, see if they can hear you?
Hey, what's up, Dindorf? What's up, Raph?
Yeah, we're doing good. I think after what 2.5 years of podcasting, we kind of needed a little bit of a break. So I think we took from Christmas until around about now, like I said, about March, almost March time frame here to kind of recoup. And it kind of coincided nicely with a lot of DFK development. So we're kind of excited to hop back into it today. I'm gonna keep going, Raph, unless you got something. Okay. All right.
Thank
I'll
you for
keep going.
tipping with message.
So,
First
question of the day,
blood.
then, Raph, since he's off at the moment, I'll pitch this to you, Just like, so how do we DFK right now? I mean, it's been a minute. So what's your day in DFK look like right now?
Oh, I've been having some really exciting days in DFK lately after a little bit of a lull myself as well. I haven't been doing much summoning. We did the leagues starting up, and eventually I kind of got sick of or got discouraged in terms of trying to dark summon those Grail of Grails, the three
Oh
heroes
yeah.
that were going to win the JCL or
Yep.
Magic or anything like that. So I just stopped for a while. I just started accumulating stones and parts and stuff in anticipation of resuming the dark summoning. And oh man, we've been throwing some guys in the pit the last few days, hit a couple nice ones, rugged a couple times of course, but the plans are coming together. Tomorrow's the day. I'm excited. It's not my best format tomorrow, but I'll play it if I can, and then hope to get into my better formats in the weekends, which is a fun thing to talk about.
Oh, very nice.
All
Very
right.
All right,
nice.
I think I'm back.
Can you
Oh,
guys?
we got Raph in the house.
All
All
right. Can
right,
you
can you
guys hear
guys
me
hear
all
me all
right?
right?
Yeah, you're good on my end.
Okay. Very good. All right. So, now I'm getting double feedback here. Okay. Now I think you guys should be able to hear me. So, I gotta do it the old-fashioned way. Otherwise, if I don't start a podcast off right, then we won't get very far tonight. So, good evening and welcome to Adventures in DeFi Kingdoms. This is Raph streaming to you live high above the keep in the hot air balloon. As always, I have Neindorf with me who helped carry the podcast while my microphone's not working. It's been so long that I don't even know how to podcast anymore. And just so excited to have you. You are, as always, our expert, but even more so tonight as we're trying to catch back up into the swing of things. So I'm ready to go. Eric, thanks for the mic check on YouTube chat. And I'll just kind of throw a shout out to chat out there. Keep us honest on anything because I'm catching up for sure. Just I love that bit that you had on the JCL, kind of losing a little bit of faith. Kind of struggled with some of the Magic games. I feel like, I went through a brief period where I tried to play a couple games and it's like I forgot how to drive a car. And for someone who drives a car every day, it was a really surreal experience. I was kind of making bad plays, making wrong decisions, started getting in my own head. Um, and now I'm trying to get back on the horse again, get back into the grind. Been throwing some heroes into the pit. That always makes me feel better. Well, it doesn't always make me feel better. Um, but yeah, trying to build towards tournaments, and you have a big spreadsheet that you want to present for us that is kind of your breakdown of the tournaments that are coming up. Do you want to jump into that right now, or do you want us to kind of meander our way there?
We could meander a little bit, or I could show it. Yeah, it's basically I know Mega did a breakdown, a really good breakdown on his stream last Thursday, I believe. I haven't watched Emerson yet, uh, but he had a stream, I think, also. So people are digesting the information. It's a little bit tough to read that calendar, to be perfectly honest, but I did put it in a spreadsheet. And I'll just share it whenever you want to use it. But basically, the main thing that I'm looking at with this is it's formats. That's what I made a giant 30-minute video about that took me forever. The need for formats, and it's true that nothing happened for months on end, but we are getting them now, and I think that'll help a lot of things. I think that'll help the pickup games. I think that'll help the economy in game, in terms of stones and heroes and stamp pots and gold, everything basically. And yeah, it's formats are important. The free for all play, the free and open play, like it was fine for a while, but it gets old pretty quickly. We need a little bit of direction, and we're getting it.
Yeah, I love it. You called that out. Um, I mean, gosh, it feels like 12 weeks ago now,
It's
right
been a
off the
minute,
bat.
yeah.
And I think it's kind of understandable how the game has, developed the way that it has at the pace that it has. But these formats help it, kind of from getting stale by making sure that people are getting matched up appropriately, and your level 5 team isn't, getting some level 20 team that's fully decked out in all their gear. And so, I mean, I think this is pretty exciting. They have way more formats than I was kind of expecting them to come out of the gates with. Do you want to talk about, maybe what formats have stuck out to you that you like, and maybe what formats have stuck out to you that you're like, I don't think that's for me, or maybe just don't
Uh,
like it entirely?
Yeah. Okay, so I have it sorted by date now. If I switch it up, that's why I wanted it here. So the most casual by far is the level 6. These are all daily skirmishes. These are going to be the lowest kind of value. The daily skirmishes are the only ones. Mega broke this down with T Heat very well. That are negative EV. Like as a player, you have to be very, very good to make money, assuming that the items aren't worth a ton, which they might be. So that might not actually be true. And the sponsorships might be worth a ton. If they're giving you, $2 to the winner every time, then it's definitely positive EV. But just on its surface, in terms of entry fees in, prize money out, they are negative EV. So the level 6, they're all rare and below. There are no need for actual level 6 mythics or legendaries in terms of these formats so far. This can obviously change in the future, but that's going to be the most casual, the lowest powered tournament format. And then 10, I think, is going to be really interesting. This is actually going to be the one that has, in addition to daily skirmishes, it has Revengers and Weekend Warriors, which are much higher priority tournaments in terms of prize structure. They're plus EV just on their own. Whereas 15 is all skirmishes again. It's like it's a more variable and higher powered version of the level 6, basically. And then level 20, this is where your money's going to be made, which is great. That's what I thought. That's what I said in my video. I'm all for formats as long as you let the big dogs eat. You can't let people, commit to these high powered heroes for all this time and then rug pull them and say, actually, our level 6s are going to decide who wins $10,000 at the end.
Yeah.
That would be really a kick in the balls. So they're not doing that.
And ultimately, that'll drive the ecosystem of the value of all the items and the heroes too. And
Oh
so
yeah.
you want that trickle down economics for even the farmers, and the item gatherers and the hero builders, and well, maybe not item gatherers at this moment in time. Hopefully, that part of the economy eventually fixes itself. But some people are just hunting for items and selling those items. Neindorf, I know you haven't been too much on the competitive scene. Have you been selling anything, or how are you planning on playing into this new world?
Yeah, so I mean, it's kind of tough, right? Because with the power token prices being what they are, and I was kind of looking at my wallets, and I'm like, well, I feel like the need to sell something, and I got looking, and I'm like, well, I'm not going to sell Jewel right now; it's too depressed. And I've been kind of tracking the equipment sales, and there's been a lot of equipment moving. Um, and the prices they're not terrible. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that's flying off the shelf, and so I was like, you know what? I've been sitting on that 10% Gorbo. That's like one of the only bows I've ever found. I got lucky and got the 10%, which is the top boost. And so I listed it. I was talking with you, Raph, online a little bit. Like 2 hours later, someone had bought it. It was like, I think it was 25,000 crystals. So I'm like, I felt pretty good about that sale. Again, I'm not really that competitive.
Wow.
I don't have the knack for it. I don't mind just doing some hunts and kind of as you were saying, Raph, kind of selling some gear, getting in on those remaining metas and honk drops while they're out there if I get lucky. So I kind of been playing that road, and then I've been trying to get my hero count down a little bit. I mean, I was close to 600, and then I had it down to like I don't know 530, and then I found a whole bunch more on my wallet again. You know how that goes. So
it is. I feel like the hero count is unmanageable for me right now.
It's tough, yeah.
Even with the tools that we've built and with the bots that we have going on, it's like I cannot wait for Divine Essence, and it's like that's the thing that's keeping me from going real crazy and just burning the heroes to the ground just to try to get some more mythics or something like that. But yeah, so Just, what have you been hunting for lately? Neindorf, or have you been trying to? Are you consuming in the market, producing in the market? Where's your position right now with kind of hero building or prepping for PvP?
Yeah, I've been hunting.
Sorry. Did you pitch that? Who are you pitching that to? I wasn't catching.
Oh, Just please.
That was to me, but congratulations on the 25K on that bow. I saw you ask me that. I missed it when you asked me in DM, and I would have said like 12 to 15. So I'm glad I didn't answer and mess you up. 25 was a good price. I think that's awesome. But
yeah, it's funny because like there was a 9%er listed for 20, and I was like, wow, that's 10%, right? It should be more. And Raph's like, well, you should try 25. I'm like, hey, that sounds like a lot. I'm like, and then it sold 2 hours later. I was like, awesome.
Yeah, the super premium stuff. I mean, that was always my strategy in kind of the off season as we had a good view of what was coming. After we were doing the alphas for PvP and we knew kind of what was going. I wanted the premium gear. That's where I put a lot of my assets into in terms of investing. So I've been hunting the whole time. I like hunting personally. I love the Bach fight boars. I could do without, but I've really been wanting a second Excalibur. I didn't get it. I blew my wad on a speed pants, which I'm happy with. I got a pretty good deal on them instead. So I'm really, I think that's what is really going to decide all these tournaments, the premium gear. Not necessarily the difference between like a 10% Gorbo and a 7%. That's not going to make that much of a difference. But I paid up for a 10% repost Bach helm back in the day, a 10% Aegis for block, stuff like that. It is nice to get the best of the best. And what I would really like right now is to get one of the quote unquote new armor drops from Box, because they fixed a bug where the variable part, the top part wasn't variable. Recovery on light armor, blind resist on medium, and then most importantly, the initiative
on the heavy armor.
So
that okay. Exactly. So that is it's boosted by the helm too.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, I would love to get. I don't know that they exist. I don't think we have any seen yet. But if I could get like 100 initiative or like an 80 or 90 initiative, and then because I frequently use on my best of my best team, I frequently use my 10% repost helm with heavy armor. It's really good. And if I could get a really good initiative one, I love the Bach hunts regardless, but there's a ton of stuff I want now that the armor drops are a lot more exciting, and then Excalibur would obviously be great.
So what do you think about, did you catch, maybe I want to make sure I heard this right on one of the previous or one of the most recent AMAs. Did I hear that they expect the gear that drops from these tournaments to be as good as or better than the existing gear?
Level 10 gear.
Yeah, it's gonna be level 10. It says it's gonna be around on par with the gore stuff. So like I'm a really interesting. That's going to be one of the really interesting part. If you can win some of these early tournaments, they said you're not going to be able to open the chests immediately. They're working on it. So it'll be a little bit of a delay. But if the weapon that you open from the daily chest is really good and you can get a really good version of it, I mean, there's a lot of value there. That could be best in slot for Knight easily, who can only use the Gore sword now, really. So it could be a huge upgrade, or it could be some other weapon. I don't know, a dagger. It could be best in slot for like a warrior if it's something like that. But I'm guessing it's going to be a one-handed weapon since we already have several two-handed weapons.
I love the claw mace.
Thank you for tipping with message.
That came out with patrols. Baby. I wish that it had more stun potential, or the same amount of stun potential but more damage potential. Like, I love the theme of what they did with that weapon. I just wish that it wasn't, like I think it's like a level 5 tier instead of up the level 10 tier.
Yeah, the weapons, I'm down. I'm bearish on the weapons just because
Yeah.
unless they change something, they're talking about changing something so that the weapons might be level based instead of strength based. But the way they are now, those are both pretty useless because you can just use a gore sword instead of that thing.
Or yeah, they feel like, I guess when I was looking at like weapon powers, I mean they're obviously way under the gore blade. So I mean it's like you can't justify bringing that into battle.
But you can with the armor. I love both of the armors. The heavy mails started picking up. I think our friend Tad bought a couple for a lot and got the market kind of flowing on those things. Those are going to be the best armor you can use at level 6 because you can't use Bach mail or anything, obviously.
That's
a
And
good point.
there's gonna be prizes based on that. That's why they went up. The rags, which our other friend Code Green is the only one, owners are just epic. Those are just great on their own. But yeah, those I'm very jealous of. But
Code Green
I'm
has
not.
an awesome set.
I'm never gonna have that item. I've pretty much resigned myself to that. I'm not gonna farm patrols really for it.
It's a lot of
It's a
fun.
lot. But congrats to him.
Yeah. Yeah, I also sprung on some speed pants as well. I saw a pair that was out there for too long and had to move on that. I think speed is always going to be something that's good. Um, and being able to boost your speed by 9%, which is I think what I picked up. I feel like that amount it's significant. If you can hit first, I mean that is always important in a turn-based game.
And it makes those windows that you need, those, Jess, you talk about that a lot, finding that critical window to kill. And it's like, if you have that speed, I mean, those windows that you need become smaller and easier to find.
Oh yeah, speed. Yeah, I have never looted a pants somehow. On like 4,000 board fights. I've been lucky in some respects, but very unlucky in that one. So I've bought both my speed pants, and they're premium items in my opinion. I'll be interested. And I don't really, I don't know how we know this. I mean, I guess I would know a little bit because I played the lower levels, like in anticipation of something like this, just to kind of see how they scale. But we're gonna find out like what gear is good at what levels, what classes are good at what levels, because different stuff is going to be available at level 10 and level 6 than is available in 20s like we've been fighting with. So it'll be a little bit of a thing. And the way that the stats scale, it could be that speed pants aren't as impactful at level 10 as they are level 20, or it could be that they're more. I'm not sure. I think maybe more because I think it's I don't know. I need to play. And maybe Boar's Head will be less impactful or maybe more. I don't know. I just need to play. But looking forward to it because yeah, I played a lot of level 12s and level 16s and made some videos about it. But I just couldn't get that many people to play, so I eventually kind of quit. But I think the pickup game market will pick up a lot once we have these clearly defined levels that people are going to focus their heroes into. Because that was the problem, is people were just like joining with whatever they had and hoping somebody had the same thing. Whereas now, if you get a good hero that's really good, you can either level it all the way to 20 or 10. And then if it's not as good, you could probably focus on 6 or 15. That's how I view it anyways.
I feel like there should be more, there's more opportunity for skill to have an impact at some of the lower levels too. Do you feel like that's the case, or am I misreading something there?
I think they're more aggressive in my experience because you can use all the weapons. They scale, but you can use the weapons. You can't. So they go a little quicker. I like the aggro game regardless. So I'm not super interested in playing healers low level. Maybe I'll change my mind, but I'm not super interested. I like warriors, archers, knights, maybe a seer. But
Punch
I
him in
like
the
I like
face.
this speed game, aggro game, play the time bar, and then find that window, execute a strategy, see if they can counter, see if you can get a little RNG, use your potions properly, and that's what's going to decide the fight.
All right, so I got a level up that I need your advice on, Jess. I've been working on grinding this guy up. He's a recent. He emerged from the pit for me. Decently happy with the HP so far. I mean, not top tier, but good, I would say. So I was going for a warrior, and for this guy, I went with Last Stand. I'm happy with his dex. It outperformed his strength by a lot, even though I put greater strength stones on this. Can you guys see this? I guess I first should have asked.
Yep, I can see it.
Okay. I'm still seeing his spreadsheet, I guess.
Oh, you may have to pop over. You should have an option to look at another screen there, Neindorf.
Okay. I'm on my phone here, popped up, so.
Oh, yeah.
I'll bear with it. It's no worries.
All right. You could also watch and delay on YouTube as well.
Oh, there you go. That's true.
I'll
pop that up.
One of the things that I feel like that I kind of wanted to talk about, and not just because I want to get advice on this hero, but I feel like the first 5 levels and the last 5 levels can be pretty important for leveling up. And I'm getting convinced more and more that you should go for vitality in the early levels, or at least it makes your chances of leveling up easier. And, in chat, Tad had a good point today, which is, you could just, re-roll with Divine Essence out. But I feel like if you re-roll, and I don't know, this is all speculation at this point in time, but if you re-roll, 4 or 5 times, that could end up becoming cost prohibitive in a hurry. And so, the last 5 levels, how important is speed compared to some of the other stats? And so here I am with this guy. Yeah. Walk me through.
So at this point, I'm never putting a point into vitality. I'm not putting any points into vitality after like 10. So I would definitely be strength, dex, edgy, or depends on what you're trying to do with this guy. Are you trying to sword and board? Are you trying to use an Excalibur and a Scally or something? What's your plan here in terms of gear for weapons?
Let me do
what kind of genes you got? All right. Explosion, Last Stand,
and Clutch.
All right. Yeah, I would if this was me. So you're looking at like 1350-ish HP if we're lucky here. That can stand up front. That can definitely go either way. You can either use a two-handed weapon or a sword and board. So I would be thinking about if I want to put a point in dexterity or endurance. I'm definitely putting a point into agility.
Yeah.
And my main into strength. Yeah. But I'm never vitality. So how I do vitality, I'm gonna figure out about how many total points I want to get in vitality, and I'm gonna do them all as soon as possible. Vitality main with a crystal for as much as I want vitality. So I want either 1 or 0. I want either max vitality, and then I will just want to turn it off. So I would have 0 points in vitality for the rest once I have as much vitality as I want.
Once you get that minimum number
because
that you're looking for.
So this point in vitality that you were thinking about putting there, if you had got it in level 10, it would be worth a lot of points. Like at this point, it could be worth, 10, 15 points, that one single point. Right now, it might be worth 1 point or 2 points. If you get a large.
If you get a large.
If you get a large or a medium, it's definitely not now. So yeah.
Well, I haven't dropped the Atonement Crystal, and this guy's doing good enough on level ups for me. And I like the Last Stand as a warrior with a high HP. So I'm willing to drop that. So here we go.
Yeah, that looks good to me. Dexterity, I really like on warriors because Final Blow. I love Final Blow and Hunter's Mark. You can really land it even without a Skelly's Eye. And I know you have a Skelly's Eye. I've landed a lot of Final Blows with that thing.
So with 50 dexterity, Are you feeling like you would still do Scally's Eye on that much dexterity, or
If you're using like a gore axe and planning to just do cold onslaughts, like with no setup and final blows, it's very valuable.
Mhm.
Although it's somewhat matched to if you're against a knight, it's less good than if you're against like a priest or an archer
someone that's more edgy and
with
more
more agi. So
evasion?
it is somewhat dependent, but it's very viable. On the other hand, you can do a more defensive build with this guy like Bachler and either the Bach Knight Helm or the Aegis
Mm-hmm.
is excellent.
What do you guys feel
Okay.
about the precision potion?
I don't like it.
Really?
No.
Is it not a very big boost? That's where I haven't really gotten caught up yet.
I just don't think it's worth the thing. So you did low mana, high HP though. I believe
Yeah.
that's a medium HP, isn't it? With 40. Yeah, it's a medium and then low mana. You really could have used some mana there,
I know.
unfortunately. But the stone helped you a ton. Would have
Yep.
helped to get a big one to get up to 130.
Mm-hmm.
And your rarity bonus wasn't great.
No.
To be honest, no, just 2 dex and 2 endurance, because that vitality does nothing for you except recovery at this point.
Right.
So not a
And
great one.
luck's effectively useless. Adds a little bit
Eh,
to your evasion.
if you whirlwind is good.
Yeah.
It does matter for whirlwind.
Yeah. But I mean, ultimately, I'm at an at a HP level that I like a lot.
It's 130 HP there. That's definitely
Yeah.
large. That's very nice.
Pretty slow hero, slower than I would have liked. At a couple level ups through the way, I know I dropped a greater swiftness crystal trying to get a 2 or a 3 if lucky level up, and I did not get that, so that's a little disappointing. But yeah, I'll have to decide, am I gonna go with that Scally and Excalibur, or so the
You can
Sword
do a
and
lot of
Robe?
different things. Yeah. You could do Scally, or you could do Excalibur and not Scally's Eye. You would just need to
Yeah.
be a little bit more, you know, not go as balls to the wall as I tend to do with my type of warriors. This is like a warrior that I use in JCL, where I just give zero craps, just throw in an onslaught out there expecting 500 damage
Yeah. Yeah.
and
All
final
right.
blow at will. Yeah.
Well, I appreciate that help. And, I think I'd like to start tying that back into what you were sharing with the level 20s and what you're going for as you're looking at the high level play. I mean, we've been able to play now for a couple months, well, several months now, and it feels like traits are kind of getting into a nice rhythm and groove where they're not overpowered. They went through a little bit of a roller coaster ride initially, and now it feels like we're at a nice balance, in my opinion, of equipment, your traits on your hero, so the skills that you can choose, the abilities, and then your total stats that you have. How do you feel about kind of that balance of where they're at with the game right now?
Yeah, exactly. You took the words right out of my mouth. Those three things kind of in concert, I think, are at a good spot now. I think traits are great in terms of their design where they are right now. They're really, really impactful, but it's not like, I don't want to get into old whatevers about how bad it was just to like not be able to play certain heroes because they just get instantly deleted when things get pushed a little bit too far. But I think the traits are awesome. I think the aggro traits are still the best thing you could do. Giant Slayer, I mean, is still the best thing you can do. It's just a matter of, is the best aggro thing you can do just like winning the game on its own. Like how good is it? It's like gradations of it, right? It's not like it needed to go or meter just because it was the best thing. It was because it was, to what extent is it the best thing, and how does it make the gameplay because of it? And I think the games are a lot better now. I won a game the other day. I forget who it was against, somebody in the guild, where I got the 20% because my guy was dying, and it won me the game because I landed a huge onslaught that he was not expecting.
Nice.
So it comes up, but it doesn't come up very often. It's mostly just 10%. That is still the boogeyman in my opinion. If I'm building an aggro hero, I want 2 Giant Slayers still. It's just, I'm not just going to win in the lobby anymore. So
Right.
I do think Second Life and Resurrection are the best 2 traits now, though, which is as they should be.
Yeah.
You know what I
Go
like
ahead,
to
Nando.
see is, you've got this up here, this schedule, and I like to see that there's nothing in it about abilities or traits. Rather, I was a little concerned that they'd have some that were for like, basic or advanced only, and I'm really glad they didn't go that route, and instead they switched up other items.
Yeah,
You've got
we
to
could.
reward people for all the hard work they put in on that stuff.
Yeah, we could look at it a little more in depth if you want. It's pretty
Yeah, let's do that.
interesting. Oops, I screwed up. Hang on. This one. So yeah, they came up with these melee mosh pits. So level 10s, like I said, they're gonna have Revengers, which have a nice prize, and the Weekend Warriors, which have a nice prize. They get you into the monthly. They both get you into the monthly, as does Gold Rush, I believe. And the monthly tournament is excellent.
I mean, the month.
In terms of
Can we touch on that?
ROI.
Can we touch on that brief? Oh, I'm getting some feedback here.
Sure.
Yeah, can we touch on the monthly here briefly on, that unlocks, I mean, it's a pretty big prize pool. I know
Yes.
the guys over at the Jewelers did a awesome podcast on that. Go check that
Yes.
out. But
Check
real
that out for
quickly,
sure.
the monthly, like they're dropping some really big prizes, right?
Yeah, I'm pulling it up. Yeah, you should definitely watch the Jewelers one. I'm just gonna do a reference real quick. It's called the Champion Tournament. There's 3 tiers of chests that it drops. So you'll be able to get, I believe, armor, weapon, and potentially an accessory, or maybe that's just the last one. I'm not sure about the chests too much anymore, but $1,000 for the monthly, basically. So that Revengers tournament, that Gold Rush tournament, can get you qualified for a tournament that you can't lose money in. It's a $20 entry fee. If you get dead last, you get your $20 back. So you can't lose money, as opposed to these other ones. And then you have the upside of winning $1,000, 3 chests, and a extremely valuable token to the grand finals, the All-Star. And that's a minimum $200 in your pocket right there.
Right. That's huge.
Actually, that's also one. It costs you $200 to get in. You can't lose money. It's just like very, very positive expected value. So yeah, anything higher than the daily is valuable for that. That's why I'm really focused on level 10s, because this is where you get some extra value. And I think the monthlies, they haven't posted them yet, but I think they're going to be either level 10 or level 20. I think there will be some of each, but I might be wrong. They might be all 20s, but they went a little nuts here. To answer your question about the precision potion, Neindorf, I just don't think it's worth taking an action and spending 5 stone personally when you have 11 stone.
Oh, it's 5. I guess I thought it was a light one. It seems like an anti-blind kind of thing.
No, I'm pretty sure it's 5.
Oof. Then I totally agree with you.
I've used the attack one a little bit and the spell one. It's a good option to have, and it should be noted that your battle budget is 60 for these, by the way,
Right?
which is wild. So you can bring pretty much whatever. So that's
crazy.
I don't love that personally, because it's like you get a guy down to 10 hit points and he always has the greater health available, basically the full health available. Whereas in the 1122, you really have to. It costs you something to bring a greater health potion, where it doesn't cost you anything here. So you can just have the perfect potion available at all times. But the new potions are kind of cute, but I don't think they're going to be better than greater health or swiftness in terms of using more than a health vial, especially since we have only 11 stone to use in a fight.
So how much? So that's your budget. Sorry, the terms I'm trying to remember.
Yeah. Inventory is 60. That's how many potions you can bring. Budget is 11. That's how many you can use in a fight.
Okay, so that's pretty standard, the 11.
So yeah, the melee mosh pits are going to be interesting, though. I am interested in fighting with these formats. I've fought Triple Warrior before in JCL. I enjoy it. I think it's good. So I'll just do that. I'm all for it. I wasn't going to use precision potion anyways. I think you want to use a swift potion or healing vials. And then what I'm not going to do as of yet, I have not done regular summons. I guess that's kind of another thing to really talk about is if you want to commit to um, getting high level summons, or at least level 10, I guess, for the tier bonuses. And then how many stones do you want to use on high rarity, high level summons like this for regular summons? There's a big reward, but it's a big risk too. And personally, it's just a time consideration. I don't have time and mental energy to do that. I'm already spending a lot of time and mental energy on these other formats, so I'm choosing to opt out of regular summons for now. But there's going to be value there if you do it. As you see right here, Weekend Warrior, regular summons only. I could qualify that for that and not be able to play it.
We need to get the Dread Knight Codex out so I can use my Giant Slayer Dread Knight.
There you go.
There can't be very many regular summon Giant Slayer Dread Knights out there.
Yeah. But yeah, and then 15 is kind of a mix of between. So, like I said, 6 was all rare and below, and there is some rare and below on level 15, which is interesting. More of a casual format, I think, but it's kind of in between the two. So I like 15. I think 15 plays really well. Doing my test matches for this in terms of formats, I was playing a lot of level 16s, and they had some really good play to them. So 15 is about the same, really. This will be a fun format.
I think the thing that I'm still trying to navigate is like calibrating in my head because I've only really played PvP at level 20, and I've done the boar fights and the Bach fights at lower levels, but like what stats are decent enough on a hero that's level 15. And so I'm not very calibrated on like, is my agility of 25 is that okay? Am I going first most of the time or not? And so I feel like that's going to be kind of a figuring things out moment.
Fortunately, Probably not. Built you a bunch of good tools for that. The Box and Whiskers excels there, and the lobby tool to see your relative speed and stuff. It gives you a good idea of where you stack up with each heroes.
So now you got me really thinking about these regular summons. What do you think those, what is it going to take to be competitive in those? I mean, you're probably not going to see double Giant Slayer, right?
No. I mean, I don't know. I think that's why they're doing it, is because it's going to be a lot more variable. And like, I mean, if you really wanted to go for it, I mean, you'd be slapping, greater stones on regular summons, which is not a fun time in my experience, but that's what you would need to do to really go for it. But there's going to be some big prizes associated with that. Like I said, I just don't think it makes sense for me personally in terms of times and resources. But what I've talked about, what I really like about this is that you can specialize, because I have a lot of stuff. I have spent a lot of time on this, but I'm not going to be a master of all these formats. Definitely not. I like some of my level 10 teams a lot. I like some of my level 20 teams a lot, but I'm not going to be like just showing up with the stone nuts on every tournament. I don't think anybody is. Maybe Ebla, if he wants to, he will do it. But I think for most sane people, you're just going to have to live with what you got and do your best in battle. I think that's the strategy, and I think it's good. And if you find a spot where you have, it just lined up where a couple of your really good heroes hit on a certain format, and you can focus in on that and specialize on it, I think that's awesome.
Yeah, so I'm going to bring up on screen, there's a terms and conditions piece that they just shared here recently. Have you guys had a chance to look at this yet?
Briefly, yeah. I took a peek.
I suggested it.
Really? Nice.
Okay, good. So
because we were talking in one of the discords about the problems with multi-walleting and how it's bannable and illegal in any kind of poker tournament or a lot of things like that where you're playing against each other. It's a huge problem. For any sort of thing where you can play against yourself, it's a big no-no. So I suggested that you make them sign a transaction, just like when you're not claiming airdrops from a prohibited jurisdiction in crypto or anything like that. They make you sign a message with your wallet with the terms and conditions basically, and they could do the same thing basically just as a deterrent. I don't think it will be applicable to hardly anybody, but if it is and it's causing a problem and causing a bad time for a lot of people who are playing by the rules, they need to have some way to potentially enforce.
Mhm.
I don't think they want to at all. It's just a tool.
And that being said, too, I don't think they'll have anything to really detect it. I think they would make the community be like, "Hey, this doesn't seem right."
Yeah, I saw
Right.
this hero in this guy's wallet,
Yeah.
and then I saw the transaction, and it was just a transfer instead of a sell.
Well, but
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's gotta. So that's where it's tough, though, because as a guild, I feel like we should be able to share heroes.
Oh yeah. But I
So
mean, if I'm going to share it with somebody, it's going to be to, username Neindorf. It's not going to be username whatever potato head that's actually me playing on my second screen in a different browser. Right.
right,
It'll be shared to a known guild member, and that'll be fine. They're not going to think I'm playing Neindorf if I
right.
do a hero. If it's some hero if some in-game name nobody's ever heard of using my hero and I'm playing against them, that's when it might need to be looked at.
Gotcha. Okay, I follow
If
you
it's a
now.
problem, but right, like lending within the guild, we're gonna know each other's names, so that's not
Yep,
a problem.
Yeah.
yep.
All
I
right.
love
So
it. I think they're keeping on top of it. They realize that this is their chance. Tournaments is like this is the thing, right? And it basically they can't screw it up. And if someone were to take advantage of it and pull, you know, more than their fair share, I think that would be about the worst thing that could happen to them at this point.
I don't think it would be that bad, honestly, without it, but it's good to have it. That was my only point. I think the threat of enforcement will be enough to, if anybody was thinking about, kind of having their mind, because if there's ever a chance to exploit in crypto, people are gonna, at least
Yeah,
consider it. And with that,
absolutely.
if they have to sign that, and there's a threat of, forfeiture of winnings based on that, just get it out of their mind. To get that, flick that devil off your shoulder and just listen to the angel and just like play and have fun like a normal
Well
person.
said.
all right. So we covered a lot of ground. There's a really good question in chat here, or slight conversation going on in chat, where Germ Curry brings up, and then Mega Seconds wondering is that 60 stone budget? Is that what you get coming into the total tournament, or is that a per match per round like we are used to? And do we
Per
have
match.
per match? Okay.
Yep.
So fill them
right.
up.
I've already loaded. I've got a loadout. It's ridiculous. That was my feedback. That was one of my feedbacks in the PvP format, is that I like this. I like the optionality, but this is objectionably ridiculous.
That's a lot.
So they
Yeah.
just want to get you to spend a bunch of metas, moving those potions back and
Maybe
forth from.
that's how they get you.
I see.
All
Yeah,
right.
I think most fights you're going to be using 3 vials and anti-blind, coagulate, or anti-potion, depending on what happens. I still think that is kind of the best in a lot of ways, with the 11 stone budget.
All right. So
But we'll see.
we're now T-minus 23 hours from the start of the first tournament, which is the daily skirmish of level 11 to 15, rare and below. I'm going to be jumping into this one just because I can't help myself. I gotta be. I have a feeling this is going to be very well attended here. You guys have any thoughts on this one?
Yeah, I'll play it if I can. I've been stampotting a couple heroes. I don't have a great team for this, but I'm going to try. It's the first one.
I
I
have a
guess.
boar hunting team, and we'll see how they do fighting people.
Yeah, I have a couple archers that are good but don't have enough HP to be great. So I'm gonna be playing really aggro and trying to get them before they get me. Basically, see what happens.
I don't think I have good HP on my guys either, but the ironic, or silly thing is, I haven't even thought to use the tool, the box and whiskers chart, to get a good feel for, what is a reasonable HP at level 15 for like an archer. Maybe I'll do that. Well,
But what'll be
feature you
interesting?
suggested, by the way.
Yep, it's great.
yeah,
feature. I
a
love
feature
it.
feature I asked for. Yes,
I use it all the time. It's awesome. But what'll be interesting is the gear. If you're trying to play a lot of these, like if I'm trying to play this one, and I have like I have a warrior up front that I'm planning on using. If I use I have one Excalibur, so if I use that and then I unequip it on that night at 11 o'clock or whatever, I can't use it the next day on these when I sort, these are different. Okay, so it's 1 and then 9. So I can't use it for either of these on the next day. I can't use it again until Friday, that Excalibur. So that'll be interesting. Although Friday is 15, so it's gonna be interesting. You're gonna need to plan ahead. Speaking of plan ahead, if you haven't unequipped anything that you want to use from your 20s
Too
to
late.
15s, it's
Too
too late
late.
right now. so that sucks. But yeah, the
Shoulda-
equipment is gonna be interesting.
So this is a 6-month spread of tournaments, right? So
Right.
do you believe durability will be out in that time frame, and then those restrictions will be removed?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
So
I think it'll be out in March for sure.
So you're feeling like, at some point that cooldown, do you think the cooldown comes off when durability comes on?
When durability comes on, yeah, I think so. Maybe.
I don't know. I really hope it does, because if you have an Excalibur and you want to use it every day and you want to burn that,
depends.
Be my guest.
So is durability going to be only for tournaments? Have they said, like, because if you take the cooldown off, you can use Excalibur on 10 straight buck hunts, for example?
I would assume that any fight you enter into can cause damage. I don't think it would be tournaments only. At least I hope not, because I'm the kind of guy that all the gore gear I'm using now for hunting, when durability comes out, all that's coming off, and I'm switching to Squire junk because it's not worth it.
Ooh. Great box of Wixers there.
Oh, look at him. Yeah.
You're on the wrong side of that box.
I know. This is very disappointing. Well, I'll be trying to some decent decks, so
my archers aren't much better, but I'm gonna gear them up and try. I'm probably not gonna try too hard on this one. I'll try a little bit harder on the weekend for sure. The Gold Rush is the one I'm looking at 11 p.m., which will be a little late for me, but I'll try it. The 20s, I'll have my best 3 heroes, basically my 3 mythic 20s that I use with my best gear to try to win a token to the monthly. I think that's the best thing you can do in the short term. So I'll try.
Me too.
Do you have a sense of how long you think these tournaments will last?
No, I have no idea how that work really, but that's what we're going to find out tomorrow. I think it'll be cool. How the logistics of it is going to work. I'll be interested. I don't know anything.
Yeah, I'm kind of surprised there was no sneak peeks of what the UI looks like or what the systems are. It's kind of been pretty hush.
How intense do you think people will play with the calling out someone missing a turn on this? Because it's a 30-second timer, and I've been trying to play with 30-second timers recently with the magic, and 30 seconds that goes really quick.
I thought they said it might be automatic, which I'm a big fan of.
Yeah, so that you don't have to worry about it.
I don't want the responsibility.
Yeah.
Then you're not getting called out as being that guy.
Yeah, exactly. If it's all automatic, it's fine.
Yeah.
It's perfectly fine. I'll just play faster.
Because they said it's 4, and
if I screw up, it's fine. I don't like the optionality of it at all.
Yeah.
I don't want that power.
I totally get that. It's the psychology of it.
I've never enforced. I don't like it. But if it's automatic, it's a totally different thing. It's just how the game works, and I accept those rules and play by them. It's fine.
I don't
want
like
the discretion.
too. It's either play with it on or play with it off.
Yeah. So I hope they do that. I really do, but otherwise, I think it's pretty reasonable to enforce in these type of situations. If you're
Right.
spending $5 entry fee, I think it's pretty reasonable. I would never get pissed at somebody for enforcing in this situation.
Yeah. And it's 4 enforcements and you automatically lose too.
Right. That's just so if somebody doesn't show up, you don't have
Right.
to sit there and
Right.
wait.
That makes sense.
Which is how it is now, and it really sucks.
Yeah. Okay. Well, gosh, I feel like we covered a lot of ground here, guys. Any closing comments?
More too, yeah. Oh, I'm super excited. This is like a night before Christmas. I feel like a kid again.
Yeah. I'm
that's what we
excited as
need.
well.
You know, that's what the community needs. And I feel like, you know, talking about watching the equipment markets, I feel like there's been some names like of people who are buying gear. I'm like, I have never seen some of these names. So like, I'm feeling good, like that this is a good chance for, you know, a rejuvenation, and we can get, you know, let's get some markets cooking here, and let's have some fun with it.
Yeah, I definitely think that explains a lot of this, and I think that's a really good idea. Like if this doesn't do it, nothing will in terms of in-game economy. Like if they had just released tournaments with no limit 20s, like how many more heroes do you need? I mean, you go for the grails a little bit further, but nothing really changes. With this, it gives you things to opt in and opt out on. I think it's going to be fun. It's the game scales down really well to level 15, level 10. If you haven't played those lower levels yet, you're going to like them. I'm pretty sure there's going to be little nuances, little differences, little skills matter a little bit more. Some classes are better here than there. I actually like the berserkers a little bit in the lower levels, believe it or not, when it doesn't matter so much that they don't have skills.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think there's going to be little things that come up, little like just I don't know, quarter cases. I think it's going to be fun to figure out, and I'm looking forward to it. Obviously, said that already.
Me too. I'm really hoping we turn that corner. You know, I as much as even though I've been away from the system, it's DFK for life, 100% maxi. So I ain't selling that jewel. So it'll go to 0 or it'll go to the moon. All right. Well, with that, thank you guys very much for joining. I appreciate it, and thank you for everyone who tuned in, both live and who's going to tune in after the fact. So appreciate you guys, and really excited about bringing some more content as the tournaments go along. You know, I actually don't think I'm not sure if anyone's lined up. Maybe Sticks intern for Wednesday on that stream, but that's going to be a lot of fun. I have a
I'll
feeling.
record mine. I'll record
Okay.
mine and post later if I'm able to play.
Cool.
Yep.
Oh, absolutely.
All right. Well, I'll see you guys on Wednesday then, and I'm sure we'll be hanging out in Discord and maybe doing an emergency pod as things are going along.
Good night, guys.
All right.
See
Bye.
you.